They come in the dead of night. You don't hear them until it's too late. A low grunt, a rustle in the cornfield, then a thunderous wave of destruction. By sunrise, an entire crop field looks like it's been hit by a bulldozer. But it's not construction equipment. It's pigs. Wild, feral pigs. An invasive army that's multiplying faster than bullets can stop them. Across America, farmers are waging a relentless war against one of the most destructive forces on the continent, the wild hog. In one Texas county, over 3,000 of them were killed in a single night. That's not an exaggeration, it's a grim necessity. The wild hog population has exploded past 6 million across 35 states, and they're costing the U.S. economy an estimated $2.5 billion a year in damage. They destroy crops, tear up pastures, kill native wildlife, and spread diseases to both livestock and humans. And yet, for every hog killed, it feels like 2 more take its place. Feral hogs aren't native to America. They're descendants of domestic pigs brought by Spanish explorers in the 1500s and wild boars imported by hunters centuries later. Over time, these animals escaped captivity and interbred, creating a super pig, bigger, faster, smarter, and nearly impossible to eradicate. They can run up to 30 miles an hour, swim across rivers, and thrive in almost any environment. A single sow can give birth to 2 litters a year, each with half a dozen piglets. Within months, those piglets are old enough to breed themselves. It's a biological time bomb, and it's already exploded. Farmers have tried everything: traps, poisons, helicopters, and even night vision sharpshooters. In Texas, ground zero of the feral hog invasion, some ranchers have turned their defense into a full-scale military operation. Thermal drones scan the fields from above, identifying heat signatures in the dark. Then, small teams armed with suppressed rifles move in under the cover of night. It's not sport, it's survival. Each hog can destroy thousands of dollars worth of crops in a single night, rooting up acres of farmland with their tusks. If a farmer loses enough of his field, his entire year's income can vanish. The sheer resilience of these animals is part of the problem. A wild hog can survive for days even after being shot. Trapping them takes patience, strategy, and expensive equipment. The most effective traps are corral-style enclosures that can capture entire herds at once, called sounders. These traps often use cellular-triggered gates, controlled by apps on a farmer's phone. When the camera detects the full group inside, the farmer hits a button, dropping the gate and catching them all. But even then, it's a constant race. If one pig escapes and warns the others, they learn. They adapt. They avoid traps for months afterward. Aerial hunting has become another controversial but necessary tool. In some Texas counties, helicopter crews are hired to cull hundreds of hogs in a single day. Armed with automatic rifles and night scopes, shooters fly low over ranch land, picking off hogs as they scatter. It's dangerous, expensive, and brutal, but effective. Each helicopter operation can remove dozens or even hundreds of animals in a few hours, a task that would take weeks on the ground. Despite these efforts, the population continues to rise. The problem isn't just in the South anymore. Wild hogs have been spotted as far north as Michigan and Oregon. Climate change has only helped them expand their territory. Warmer winters mean higher survival rates for piglets and longer breeding seasons. Experts warn that if nothing changes, wild hogs could spread across nearly every U.S. state within the next decade. The environmental impact is staggering. Wild hogs are ecological wrecking balls. They uproot native plants, destroy wetlands, and eat anything they can find: acorns, insects, eggs, small mammals, even fawns. They contaminate water sources with bacteria and parasites, posing serious risks to both livestock and humans. Swine brucellosis and pseudorabies are just 2 of the diseases they carry, and both can devastate entire herds of cattle or sheep. In one Texas outbreak, a single infected hog led to a quarantine that cost a rancher over $200,000 in lost livestock. To make matters worse, feral hogs are intelligent. They can recognize human scent, detect electric fences, and alter their travel routes to avoid traps. Some farmers joke that hogs are smarter than deer, and that's not far from the truth. They're social animals that travel in family groups, communicate with grunts and squeals, and even coordinate attacks on crops or feeders. The USDA and state wildlife agencies have launched joint task forces to fight back. Millions of dollars have been poured into research for new control methods, including chemical baits that target only hogs. One such experiment, known as Hog Stop, aims to suppress reproduction by disrupting testosterone levels in males. Another approach, sodium nitrite poisoning, has shown promise in tests but remains controversial because of risks to other wildlife. Environmentalists warn that careless use of poison could harm predators like coyotes, vultures, and even eagles that feed on poison carcasses. For rural communities, the crisis has become deeply personal. Farmers swap war stories about the nights they spent guarding their crops with rifles in hand. Ranchers post videos online of hog herds tearing through fences and irrigation systems. Some have started turning the problem into profit, offering hog hunting tours for thrill seekers, turning destruction into sport. In places like Oklahoma and Louisiana, night hunts with thermal scopes have become a booming side business. But even with thousands of hogs being shot or trapped each week, the numbers barely make a dent. The economic toll keeps climbing. The $2.5 billion annual figure doesn't just come from ruined crops. It includes vehicle collisions, soil erosion, and damage to public lands. In rural Texas, wild hogs are blamed for over $50 million in annual losses alone. One farmer described watching his newly planted cornfield turn to mud overnight. Another said his cattle won't graze in hog-torn areas, forcing him to buy feed he can't afford. Urban areas aren't immune either. In some suburbs near San Antonio and Atlanta, wild hogs have started raiding gardens, digging up lawns, and even charging at pets. Videos have surfaced of hogs running through golf courses or busy streets. Local police departments now get calls not for stray dogs, but for wild pigs roaming neighborhoods. It's a problem once confined to the countryside, now knocking on city doors. Eradication isn't realistic anymore. Scientists agree that total elimination is impossible. The best hope is management, keeping populations low enough to limit damage. That means coordinated action between federal agencies, state wildlife departments, and private landowners. But coordination is hard when the enemy can reproduce faster than any program can catch up. Some wildlife biologists estimate that 70% of the wild hog population would need to be killed every year just to keep numbers stable. That's millions of pigs every year. For now, the battle continues. On any given night, across fields in Texas, Georgia, or Florida, you'll find teams in trucks with spotlights and rifles, scanning the dark for movement. You'll hear the faint thump of helicopter blades cutting through humid air. You'll see traps baited with corn, gates ready to drop, and farmers watching their phone screens for alerts. Every squeal in the night could mean another $1,000 lost. Every shadow in the corn could be the start of another invasion. The war against wild hogs isn't glamorous. There are no medals, no headlines, just farmers trying to protect what's theirs from an unstoppable force of nature. They call them land sharks for a reason. They move in packs, destroy everything in their path, and vanish before dawn. It's not just about crops anymore. It's about defending an entire way of life. 3,000 hogs killed in one night may sound like a victory, but for those fighting on the front lines, it's just another battle in a war with no end. The hogs will be back. They always come back.